this is David Owen.
And this is Marion Cowagowan.
And this is You Show Me Yours Rewatches Degrassi Junior High. And this time, we have the 1988 Season 2, Episode 3 episode, Great Expectations.
Yep. Not the Dickensian one, but that's okay. The expectation is that someone's going to do it.
Do it.
And she doesn't do it.
Do it.
She looks like she does it, but she does it. I made that joke last time. It isn't any better this time. Yeah. So Joey, noted horn dog Joey, is obsessed with sex.
Yep.
And is convinced that the new girl, Liz, is going to do it with him. Just say the word. And she instantly takes her clothes off, is I think what he's imagining. Why does he think this? I think because of her hair.
She looks like she's going to do it.
Yeah. Well, and like he says, she looks like she does it. And Wheels wisely says, what does a girl who does it look like?
Yeah. Wheels, the most progressive man at Degrassi Junior High.
Yeah, yeah. The arc that Wheels has taken, or like the characters that this actor plays,
yes.
Because the person that we see as Wheels has been some shady things, but here he's very wise. We never really get the answer, but yeah, I think it's her hair. She's kind of sort of punk looking. She has sort of heavy eye makeup, and she wears ripped jeans and a tank top.
It's a very specific time. Not that women don't wear that haircut, but yeah, it's a very 80s punk aesthetic.
Yes.
Shaved head with bangs.
Yeah, and I think, are the bangs bleached, or is it just she's got dark roots? I can't really, Well, and she just looks mad all the time.
Yeah.
But apparently this is, I don't know, I was saying, to my 2026 eyes, this does not look that strange. But I guess when you consider that some of these other girls are wearing skirts every day and hose and heels and yes.
Yeah, well, different. You have to understand that when I was in middle school, junior high, if you will, I had the, round about that time, I had the Vanilla Ice flat top with designs shaved into my head. I had a peace sign at one point in the back of my head.
Vanilla Ice, noted peace activist.
Yes. Well, I wasn't doing it because it was Vanilla Ice. I actually, my mom found this lady just who cut hair out of her house.
Yeah.
Who like had been I don't know. There was a lot of lore around this lady. Like she had been a professional hairstylist in like Hollywood or in like New York with the models and whatnot. Are you okay?
I'm dying at this. Like the lore is.
No one knows the truth.
Excellent. Did she work with Tyler Perry? By chance?
Oh, this is too
okay.
Too early for that. Maybe a very young Tyler Perry, a 16-year-old Tyler Perry, and I basically went in the first time, and I just was like, whatever, I'll take whatever, and that was what she did. I was like, I've at that time I had like, it was sort of exiting popularity, but I always called it the soccer haircut. It was like a bowl cut, but parted on one side. And then like the part was kind of spiked up a little bit. And you just had this like flop of hair that went over the other side of your face.
That's kind of the TGIF haircut.
I mean, maybe a little bit. But like at the time, a lot of soccer player types had it. And I think that's where I saw it. And I was done with it. So I was like, I don't care. Do whatever you want. I'm a blank canvas. And she was like, oh, okay. And she did that. So it wasn't like, but I was the center of attention for like 6 months because I dared to do something even slightly different with my hair.
Yeah.
That was just slightly off. Like there were other boys who also had a flat top type haircut. It wasn't quite the pompadour that Vanilla Ice had. It was like a flat top with a little bit of, zhuzh to it. And at first it was like, I think the first time it was like, it was like 3 lines, and one of them continued around to the back of my head and made like the heartbeat shape, like on an echo or whatever. And then the second time it was the circle, it was the peace sign.
Yeah.
But that was enough to make me like the center of attention
Well,
for 6 months.
Of course, this is the community where you had long hair and they thought that you were a devil worshiper. So,
well,
you know,
yeah.
I would expect people in Toronto.
Progressive.
Yes.
Toronto.
Well, I mean, and we've seen like, you know, the school, and obviously this is a fake school. So it's, you know, it's cast to be diverse, but it's fairly diverse. Like, it's a big city. Like, I would expect people to be a little bit more accepting there. But okay, the plot needs her to be the outcast. So
Degrassi, more like DEI Grassy.
oh, you had to work really hard on
look,
that.
Like, I am just trying to make a joke worse than your intro joke, or worse than your joke. So I'm trying to give you cover here.
I think the thing that made mine worse was that I did it 2 weeks in a row, and it was bad. But
more like DEI Grassy.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I right?
Anyway, so Joey assumes that he will just say to Liz, "Hey, you want to have sex?" And she'll be like, "Okay," and instantly,
yeah, man,
assume the position. And that's pretty much what he does. They have a group project or a pair project that they have to do. And she's like, "Okay, you know, come over to my house. My mom's working. It'll be quiet, you know." And she's completely not meaning anything.
Yeah,
but he hears, "My mom's working.
Right.
We'll be totally alone." And he buys condoms. There's this nice little touch. He says, "Hey, Wheels, do you still have those condoms that you got when you were gonna have sex with Stephanie?" And I was like, when he was gonna, it's not exactly how it happened, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
And Will says, "No, don't you remember we made water bombs with them?"
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, if that is what you do with unused condoms, you are so not ready for this.
Yes,
you are little boys.
100%.
But that's the kind of thing you only know in hindsight. So Joey has to go buy new condoms, and it's, you know, your typical sitcom thing of a boy buying condoms, and there's a price check. And I love the clerk who has to go check the prices, sees who's buying them, and she practically cracks up.
Yeah, she gives him the...
She's just like, "Oh, this child, okay." And he's got 2 senior citizens behind him who are giving him the stink eye. You know, just like...
It's great. And he does the classic, put a bunch of stuff in your cart.
Yeah. And then brings the full bag over to Liz's house.
Yeah, for some reason. And
I'm like, "You can go home. Or you don't," and like leaves it on the doorstep. So he goes in with only the condoms in his pocket.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, do you want to have sex? I want it. You want it. Let's do it." And she is instantly like, "You fucking asshole."
Right.
And she sort of, you know, found him charming up to this point.
Yeah.
I think not instantly boyfriend material, but she thought it was kind of, I mean, he is kind of cute.
Sure.
She thought it was funny, and et cetera, et cetera. And she thought that he was being friendly for friendship's sake. And she, in a not great bit of acting, she's like, get out, Joey, I hate you, get out." And I'm like, that is certainly what the script said. Okay, sure. But you kind of wonder, is this maybe not the first time that someone has made assumptions about her?
Perhaps. She comes from a cool school,
apparently.
So maybe, yeah. And her mom does say, "You know, I don't like boys coming over when I'm not home."
Uh-huh.
So maybe this isn't the first time, and she thought it was going to be a fresh start.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking when this happened, I was in college, and I had been on a few dates with this guy, and I went over to he had an apartment with several roommates, and he assumed that we were going to sleep together that night. And I was like, no. And he says, "What? It's not like you're a virgin." And I was like, "Well, first of all, I am. Second of all, no, that the on-ramp is longer than that. Like, what are you talking about?" I don't, you know. And it happened that shortly after this, I was going I was going home to my parents' house, and I talked to my dad about it, which in retrospect was not, I don't know.
That was an awkward conversation.
And he basically was like, "Well, you shouldn't have been over there." I was like, okay, that's not No, we're not doing that.
Did you
Like,
say, what were you wearing?
I don't think so, but that was definitely where he was headed. And I'm just like, and this is where, there are times I think, we've talked about this various times where I probably come across like I'm very, like I have unrealistic standards for people's behavior, or like this is absolutely his fault and not hers, or whatever. But like, a girl should be able to go hang out at the home of the guy she's dating without this being the expectation. A girl should be able to say, hey, study person, come to my house. And the expectation is just gross. Like, I feel like even if she is sexually active at 13, 14, there's an on-ramp to this.
Yes.
And you can't, like the person that you go to and you say, hi, do you want to have sex now? Let's do it. That's called a prostitute. Like,
Right.
It's not on demand.
Well, and again, Wheels is like, when Joey's like, I'm going over to her house after school. We're going to do it because she wants it and I want it. And he's like, are you sure she wants it? Are you actually sure?
Well, of course she does. Look at her.
Yeah, look at how she dresses.
And
look
I'm
at
just
her
like,
hair.
she looks mad. Is that what girls look like when they want it?
off.
I don't. That's
Yeah. So just a very and that's just kind of what this show is, right?
Yeah.
It's just a string of teachable moments.
Yes.
But it is. I think, as with some of this stuff, it's handled reasonably well, especially with the final revelation that Joey actually legitimately liked her, and his media rotted brain. There wasn't the manosphere wasn't a thing back then, but whatever version of that existed back then has rotted his brain to the point where he can't look at women as anything other than sex objects, and then regret that.
And then he realizes too late that it went wrong. Did you didn't watch the Cosby Show near as much as I did you?
No.
Do you remember the kid? His name was Kenny, but Rudy called him Bud. And they were kind of like, they were friends, but there was this like sort of kind of romantic interest. But anyway, he was around for a while, and he had an older brother who gave him the worst advice about how to deal with women. And it's always, my brother says that a woman should prepare every scrap of food her man eats, or whatever. Joey sounds like he's getting a lot of advice from Kenny's brother. And recall that he has several older siblings, I think. So I feel like there's an elder Jeremiah that is just
probably because his parents seem all right.
Yeah,
so they seem like they have their head screwed on.
I think
right.
First time we met his dad was cooking and wearing an apron and all this, and just so Don't always listen to your elder brothers, people.
Yes.
So, and Joey should have been listening to the Dr. Sally radio show because she's giving some sex advice. And did you hear in the voiceover? She's at one point she's like, no one looks like. You can't make assumptions about someone's sex life based
on
on
what they wear, or how they
she
look,
could be prep or punky or whatever. But he didn't.
Yep,
but who did? Melanie, and then Arthur and Yick. We walk in with Melanie is a walking reference book, and she's explaining to some girl who looks completely not into it.
Oh yeah, no.
That the standard menstrual cycle is 28 days, but it can range from 20 to 35. And the girl's like, please, can we stop talking about this?
Why are we talking about
I don't need to know. I don't stop. And Melanie says she learned all this from Dr. Sally, who is played by Dr. Sue Johansson.
Oh yes,
a real life sex host. It was on TV on Oxygen or We or something like that. It was Talking Sex with Dr. Sue Johansson, and it was like your Canadian grandma giving you all sorts of sex advice. And I think once you got past the cringy stuff, I mean, she was like a little bit like Dr. Ruth. Like she knew what she was talking about, and she was willing to say things like
she would say
penis and vagina and orgasm and
ejaculation,
jerk off and whatever. And once you get past that, you're like, okay, she knows what I'm. It was kind of like Loveline, except if your grandma hosted Loveline with no Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
So that was nice. I recognized the voice and I was like, is that late? And then I saw in the credits it actually was. Well, Arthur and Yick decide to call into this show
because you don't
because
bury the. Well, because we first start out with Yick discovering Arthur reading an anatomy book,
Mhm.
and the reason that he is because he is having wet dreams.
Mhm. Although, as he says, do you kind of leak?
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this a bladder control problem,
Yeah.
Arthur, or what's going on? No, it's
And yeah, it's the real deal. And he's like, it's happening, multiple times a week. I think I'm a pervert. I think I'm a sex pervert.
Yes, I don't. Why is that? Well, I'm convinced. Like, how does he know that this is jizz if he doesn't understand what a wet dream is? I'm a little confused about where he's getting his information because it seems incomplete.
I mean, like you've seen semen.
Yes,
it's not easy to mistake for urine.
Right, but like if you know that that's what's coming out of you, then how do you not understand what a wet dream is?
I feel like here in many parts of the states down south from the crew, we get this basic education around the 5th grade.
Yeah.
So if the Canucks are anything like us, he has been given the primer, like the basic run through of this stuff. But that is the thing, like. You get it in 5th grade and maybe you're starting down that path and maybe you're not. But for a lot of kids, it's another couple of years
and you
before
just
it really starts happening.
Some of
it's
the
not even that you
details,
necessarily forget. It's just like, okay, they told me about this thing called a wet dream. And now I think I had one because like I didn't wet the bed exactly. And it wasn't the right consistency. And, so yeah, I think that I don't think that they have no idea what sex is, despite Joey's performance to the other.
Well, Joey knows what sex is. He just doesn't have any mature ideas about how one.
And so that's how we find Yick, the concerned friend, inquiring with Melanie about, when is this show on?
And
what
and in a rather non-Melanie response, she's like, "Oh, Yick, do you have a sexual question?" And he's.
But it's also like because she likes him, so it's also kind of like, "Do you have a sexual question?" Like it's very sort of
that's
suggestive.
True. They did have their one cute ice skating date, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we still don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, he's like, "No, it's for a friend." Sure, it is.
And then
but
everybody basically surrounds him, pointing at him, going, "Yick has a sex problem."
Yeah, I don't. But he is a good guy, and he does not give Arthur up. So props that. And at the beginning, he's never had a wet dream. He says, and he does make fun of Arthur. That so like this is a good solid friendship. I like this. So they can't go to Arthur's house, can't go to Yick's house because neither of them wants their dads
to overhear
to know about this
phone call happening.
Yes. Also, their Arthur's dad is like, "Oh God, what's in these sheets? Maybe I should have a talk with him."
Yeah,
and just like putting it off.
Can you just make sure that only happens when you're at your mom's?
Right. She's got a pamphlet for you about it. So they go to a payphone and they've got this huge 80s boombox.
There's like a little bit when they're walking out after they can't decide, and there's a little like barely heard line where Arthur's like, "Do you still have that radio?" Just like as they're walking out to like, I feel like somebody came back and they like, they ADR'd that in after the fact of like, they just show up at a phone booth with a giant boom box. We just need a line of Arthur just fading off in the distance saying, "Hey, where's that radio?"
Yeah. They're freaking out. And this is when we hear Dr. Sally saying, you can't judge
coaching the other guest, the other caller.
George or whoever it was.
Yeah.
And Arthur freaks out and he doesn't want to ask the question and he'll recognize my voice and blah blah blah. And Yick is like, whatever, and he says, "Hi, I have a friend who's 12 and he's having wet dreams. Is he a pervert? Okay, bye." Yeah. And Dr. Sally immediately is like, "No, he's not a pervert. That's normal. That's your brain is just working out your sexual impulses." And they give this high five, yes, we have sexual impulses. Yeah, cool.
My favorite possible thing, they do the walking away 80s movie high five in the street. as she's like, "No, you're perfectly normal. These sexual impulses are normal," and they're like, "Yeah,
We're
and like
normal. It's practically a freeze
I wanted
frame
that
moment.
to be the freeze
Yes.
frame. So we had more to deal with in this episode. But yeah, I wanted that to, it's like what's his name holding up his
Yes.
fist at the end of
Right.
Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Like, yeah, high five.
Sexual impulses are normal. La 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 la. Yeah.
Take that, Melanie.
Right. Our teenager was watching the beginning of this with us, and where they're talking about the wet dreams at the beginning, and he's like, "This is like a PSA," and we were like, "Yes, the whole thing is like a PSA. We love it, but it is
like there is a reason that they were able to show this in my school.
Yes,
yeah, in my public school.
Well, speaking of people who need a PSA, so when Liz arrives at school, she is greeted by Stephanie, who instantly takes a dislike to her.
Yeah,
because
like another girl with makeup and a unique look.
Yeah, can't possibly. Yeah, it's unique, but it's different than me. So, and Stephanie instantly starts making fun of her hair, and you must tell me who does your hair. It's just like, bitch.
Yeah.
Shut up. And then she says to Spike later, she looks like a sleaze. She looks like she does it. And she's something else, while she is taking off her home clothes to show off the tube top, and because she's still trying to get Simon. And God bless, sweet Simon is oblivious to this.
Yeah.
Also oblivious to this is, I think it's Alex.
Yeah.
Who is trying to talk to Stephanie.
Treasurer.
Yes. Trying to talk to Stephanie about student council stuff.
Yeah.
And he's got these, fundraising ideas, and he's he's very focused on, we must have this conversation. And she's like, go away. I have something else to do. I don't. Yeah. And he's like, but it'll just take a minute. And repeatedly gets in the way of her talking to Simon and trying to,
her ploys.
Yes.
To get noticed.
So she does this completely obvious thing of like, oops, I dropped all my books right in front of Simon. And Simon's just looking like, what? That was weird. Why did that happen? And instantly Alex picks up the books and gives them to her. And Steph is like, and Simon's like, I gotta go. Okay, bye.
Bye.
And Alex ruined the whole thing, according to Stephanie.
Yes, once for the first time, and then later, Stephanie is plotting again and approaching Simon. She's like, I'm just going to ask him out.
Mm-hmm.
And right when she's about to, here comes Alex again to remind Simon, oh, we have a game. You've got to get changed. It's in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Simon does the weirdest Homer backing into the hedge kind of thing, where after Simon leaves and Stephanie gives him the stink eye, he just slowly backs up towards the door. And then, goes through it and runs, disappearing out of sight. Yeah.
Well, he's kind of like,
does he know what he's doing?
I don't think he does. It on purpose? Like, he knows he pissed her off, but he's really not sure why.
Right.
And he's just, Alex, I think, not a super likable character, but not gross or mean or stupid or anything. Like, he's no Kathleen, right? Like, he's trying his best. He's very earnestly dorky.
Yeah. I mean, he's the embodiment of the treasurer.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's all business.
Yes. And as we've seen, everyone else on student council takes it way more seriously than Stephanie does.
Oh,
so here's one more person.
Yeah.
So the saga of Stephanie pining after Simon is continuing, and the twins are her sort of Greek chorus supporting her all the time. One or the other of them needs to be like, girl.
For a minute there, there were some signs that, maybe one of them had some sense, but now not so much. Yeah, and it's a little they do a little flip flop on us here, where even though the Arthur and Yick storyline is funny, they're in competition for comedy relief, because the whole Stephanie, Simon, Alex triangle takes quite a few ridiculous comedic turns.
Yeah.
So it's we almost have double
shenanigans.
And then anything with Joey is always going to be a little bit of comic, shenanigans too. So it's like, and he does the whole, grocery store thing with the price check. And so, so it's a very a very light-hearted sort of episode without maybe meaning to, because we kind of have 3 plot points we're following, and all 3 of them are kind of comic reliefy.
Yeah, although, they're mildly serious subjects.
And I think that they're doing that thing that you have to do with this sort of stuff, where you wrap it in some silliness or comedy.
Mhm.
Like, you're trying to talk to 14-year-olds about sex. Let's, 13-year-olds about sex. Let's, hey, he's in the grocery store. He's embarrassed to buy condoms.
Mhm.
Hey, he's embarrassed to call the sex call-in show. Hey, but in the end, Joey successfully buys the condoms, though he doesn't get to use them.
Mhm.
And Arthur and Yick call in and find out that their sexual urges are perfectly normal, and
Mhm.
Stephanie never gets her Simon, her dream boy Simon Draco Malfoy to notice her truly.
He is like incredibly blonde. You
Yeah.
don't see that in boys
And,
that age or older.
It used to be Arthur and Yick holding down the oversized too long t-shirts. But now we've got Simon on the scene with the very oversized and way too long sweatshirt that he's rocking for multiple days. I can't tell.
Well, maybe
the way that it's shot.
He's a model. Maybe he's supposed to show off this fashion item, and
could be.
I don't know. Speaking of Simon and more Stephanie, the other thing with her, she's been in the bathroom and she's just insulted Liz, and Liz insulted her back, and Liz leaves, and Spike is in there, and Stephanie's talking about Liz, and she says, "Oh, she looks like she does it," and then she realizes not like you,
not like you. You made a mistake.
Yeah, and
like she does it on purpose.
Yeah, and Spike's like, "Huh." Okay.
Yeah, which kind of leads Spike to want to try to befriend Liz, and so we see sort of the beginnings of a friendship when Spike goes and sits down with Liz and kind of asks her a few polite questions about where she came from and whatnot, and then right before Liz is about to go home to meet Joey, she's like, "I think I might like him,"
Yeah.
So like a little budding friendship there.
Yeah, which we're glad to see. Although this Liz has apparently heard who Spike is, and she says, "Are you?"
Really?
And Spike says, "Pregnant? Yeah, dumb, huh?" And I'm like, that's not exactly how I would describe it, but okay. Certainly. Like, sure.
Poor decision making. We needed someone else to buy some condoms.
I suppose.
Everybody should be buying them.
Yeah. Well, speaking of someone else, that someone else, Shane, shows up in the next episode. Let me pull this up. The description for this is very long, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it is called Dinner and a Show. Shane's father invites Spike and her mother to meet for dinner in order to discuss the baby.
This was the groundwork for this was laid in the previous episode.
Yes. Shane's parents want to put the baby up for adoption as soon as it's born and send him to private school. At the dinner, there's significant tension between Shane and his parents, with them wanting to send Spike to a home. How is that up to them?
We want to send your daughter to a home for wayward girls.
Shane defends Spike and accuses his parents of wanting to send him to private school to avoid feeling embarrassed, further adding that he would prove his responsibility as a father. I am not sure about that last part, but okay. Meanwhile, Melanie goes on her first date with Snake to see the film Revenge of the Reptiles, but she claimed to Yick that was not her taste. When Joey and Wheels hijack Melanie and Snake's date, Yick discovers Melanie also watching the movie. Okay, I don't understand how that sentence works, but okay.
Love triangle.
Yeah, Melanie, you can't. So what I'm getting there is that Yick asked her first, and she said, "Oh no, I don't like those movies." And then Snake did, and she was like, "Yes, please."
Yeah,
you can't do that. And if someone asks you,
Snake is an 8th grader.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
so of course you would be like, "Oh, an 8th grader."
And he's taller than she is, and I kind of like Snake. He's kind of cute.
He's all right.
He gets cuter as he gets older.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, like if someone asks you, you can't, and then something better comes along, you can't really do that.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Like I'm sorry, that's just how it goes. But
the
not that I ever had chance to put that into into action.
Yeah.
That particular.
Well, it seems like what happened was she was disappointed that he didn't have a sexual dysfunction, and she moved on to greener pastures.
She's kind of freaky that way.
I'm Melanie. I'm looking for a man with sexual dysfunction.
I've tracked my menstrual cycle.
Right. Yeah.
I know where it is. I know where I am in the cycle.
The precision with which I track my menstrual cycle.
Yeah, I really do enjoy Melanie this rewatch. I remember liking Caitlin a lot and kind of wanting to be like her, which I still, sure. She's a little bit too perfect though. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot more of myself in Melanie. Like she just is trying so hard to be grown up, and it's just not time yet.
But that's what grown-ups do, right? They just give off random menstruation facts.
I mean, I do.
I know. I can't. Sometimes I can't stop you.
The lady at Target, I'm like, right. Did you know?
Yeah. Did you know sea lion's menstruation cycle is 6 months long?
Oh God.
That may or may not be true. I don't know. Someone actually look into that.
I'm horrified at 6 months of your period. Good Lord. Right. But does that mean you get it once every 10 years? I don't know. I might take that trade off, but
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think, if we have anything else fun to say about this episode?
This was a very a tight episode. It was tightly crafted, 3 stories being juggled that all sort of intermingle a little bit. It was a nice piece of television.
Yeah, sort of like we said about the last episode. Everything clicks together, and
they're getting better at this.
Yes. It's not just one from column A, one from column B.
Good job, Kit Hood
and Yan.
Yeah, you're
Yan. Where's that name from?
You're figuring it out.
Yeah,
from wherever Vula's family's from.
Yeah. Well, folks, we would love to know what you think of this episode. Do you have an answer to the question, what does a girl who does it look like? And what does a boy who does it look like? Yeah. And does he wear fedoras? Why is no one saying to Joey, you look like you do
like
it
a boy
too?
Who does it.
Yeah. We would love to know what you think about that. You can get in touch with us a couple different ways. You can send us an email at YSMY podcast. That's YSMY for You Show Me Yours at gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, same handle. You can send us a DM, or you can go to our feed and look at all the links to our latest episodes. In 2026, we have new episodes every single Wednesday. The first Wednesday of the month, we are doing our usual YSMY thing and showing each other movies and television that we loved before our first date. And then the rest of the Wednesdays of the month, we're rewatching Degrassi Junior High. So next episode, it's going to be season 2, episode 4, the Shane and Spike drama at dinner. And Melanie messes up to go out with a cute older boy. I don't know what that's like.
It's never too late.
Having two offers of dates at the same time, that never happened to me. That's why I want to be like Melanie. But anyway, we will see you next time with Shane and Spike drama at dinner. In the meantime, this has been You Show Me Yours. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.